Let me ask you something personal. How is your gut doing right now? Because if you're bloated after every meal, tired for no reason, getting sick more than you should, or just feel like your digestion is running on a dial-up connection, then your gut is trying to tell you something. While you've been spending $40 a month on probiotic capsules that may or may not survive your stomach acid long enough to do anything useful, people in China, Japan, and Korea have been healing their guts for thousands of years with food they eat every single day. Today, we're doing a proper gut detox. 6 foods, backed by published peer-reviewed science, and 2 daily practices, not supplements, not cleanses. Food 1 is raw lacto-fermented vegetables. Raw lacto-fermented vegetables like cucumbers, carrots, and radishes, anything preserved in salted water through natural fermentation. This is the oldest deliberately prepared food in human history. It appears in virtually every civilization that has ever existed under different names, with different spices and vegetables, but always the same core process: salt, water, thyme, and the natural bacteria that live on the surface of vegetables. Now here's what I need you to do right now. Go to your fridge and grab whatever pickles you have. Flip the jar over and read the ingredients. If it says distilled white vinegar, then no bacteria were involved. That is an acidified pickles, not a fermented one. It's shelf-stable and medically inert. It tastes fine, but does nothing. If the only acid listed is lactic acid, produced by the bacteria themselves, then that is the real thing. And here is the part most people miss entirely. The brine, which is the liquid inside the jar, is as medically active as the vegetables. Studies show elite athletes use pickle brine for rapid muscle cramp relief, and researchers have traced the mechanism to a neural reflex triggered by the acidic compounds, not just hydration. Lacto-fermented vegetables increase the density and diversity of beneficial gut bacteria, which are the most consistent marker of long-term health in current research. It contains vitamin C and B vitamins produced during the fermentation process itself. Organic acids shift the gut environment to favor good bacteria over harmful ones. The brine provides rapid muscle cramp relief and is verified in athlete studies, linked to a neural reflex response. Food 2 is miso. Japan has the longest documented life expectancy in the world. Researchers have spent decades trying to figure out exactly why. And one of the most consistent answers is daily miso soup. Not once a week, not as a treat, every single morning. For 1,000 years. Miso is fermented soybeans, sometimes with rice or barley, aged using a mold called Aspergillus oryzae. The fermentation process transforms the soybeans so completely that they barely resemble the original ingredient. What you end up with is food extraordinarily rich in digestive enzymes, free amino acids, and beneficial bacteria. Traditional Japanese culinary texts going back centuries specify: dissolve miso into hot but not boiling liquid. They followed that rule before anyone understood the biochemistry. The right way is to warm your broth, turn off the heat, then stir in the miso. That one change is the difference between eating miso as medicine and eating miso as an expensive, salty paste. Miso is rich in digestive enzymes and free amino acids that support nutrient absorption. Fermentation removes phytic acid from soybeans, eliminating the mineral absorption problems of unfermented soy. Studies show miso reduces inflammatory markers and supports beneficial gut bacteria. Long-aged dark miso that is fermented for 2 to 3 years contains the highest concentration of beneficial compounds. Research suggests it may have protective effects on the stomach lining. Food 3 is kefir. Here is a number I want you to remember: 60. That is the number of distinct probiotic strains in real kefir. Your commercial yogurt? 2 to 7 strains. This is not a small difference. That's like comparing a full orchestra to a guy with a triangle. Kefir is fermented milk, originally from the Caucasus Mountains, the region between modern Georgia, Armenia, and Turkey. The people there were some of the longest-lived populations ever documented. Here's the part most people don't know. Unlike most foods, kefir bacteria actually colonize the gut, meaning they don't just pass through, they set up camp and multiply. And because the bacteria predigest the lactose during fermentation, many people who can't tolerate regular milk can drink kefir just fine. Kefir contains up to 60 probiotic strains that are far more diverse than any commercial yogurt. Bacteria actually colonize and multiply in the gut, not just pass through. It has been clinically shown to reduce IBS symptoms and lower inflammatory markers. Kefir pre-digests lactose during fermentation, which is accessible to many lactose-intolerant people. Food 4 is real sourdough. 1 Kings chapter 19. The prophet Elijah collapses in the desert. He's been running for his life, hasn't eaten in days, and he's completely depleted. An angel appears and gives him bread and water, and the text says he traveled on the strength of that food for 40 days. Now read that through the lens of modern science. A body starved of energy and minerals, given slow fermented grain bread. That's not just poetry. That's a precise description of cellular restoration. Real sourdough is bread fermented for 12 to 48 hours using wild yeast and lactobacillus bacteria, and not commercial yeast, not the loaves made in 2 hours at a bakery. During that long fermentation, something remarkable happens. The bacteria eat the sugars that would otherwise spike your blood sugar. They produce acids that break down phytic acid, the compound in wheat that normally blocks your body from absorbing zinc, iron, and magnesium. They partially pre-digest the gluten proteins. The bread literally gets easier to eat before you eat it. The usual bread in a plastic bag with a 3-week shelf life shares a shape with sourdough. That's approximately where the resemblance to real sourdough bread ends. Sourdough bread produces a significantly lower blood sugar spike compared to regular bread, which is confirmed in multiple studies. It breaks down phytic acid, unlocking zinc, iron, and magnesium that your body couldn't absorb from regular wheat. Sourdough bread pre-digests gluten proteins. Some people with gluten sensitivity tolerate long-fermented sourdough without symptoms. Food 5 is dandelion root.
Let me say that number again, $500 million, to eliminate a plant that Hippocrates prescribed, that Persian physicians in the 10th century used for liver conditions, that Chinese imperial pharmacopoeias included for over 1,000 years. The most hated plant in American lawn culture is the same plant that has a 3,000-year unbroken medical track record on 4 continents. The bitterness of a dandelion is not a flaw, it is the medicine. The root also contains inulin, a prebiotic fiber that specifically feeds the gut bacteria responsible for producing short-chain fatty acids, the compounds researchers now consider central to intestinal immunity. During World War II, when antibiotics were rationed across occupied Europe, nurses used dandelion root preparations as a bridge, not as a replacement for penicillin, but as something with genuine antimicrobial activity while supplies were short. Simmer 1 tablespoon of chopped dandelion root in 2 cups of water for 20 minutes. Steady simmer, not a vigorous boil. The result is dark, bitter, deeply earthy. Add raw honey, or roast the root first. It develops a smoky, dark chocolate quality. The French have drunk it as café de pissenlit for centuries.
Food 6 is apple cider vinegar with the mother. Vinegar shows up in the Bible as ordinary table food. Ruth is offered bread and vinegar as a meal. The Nazirite vow specifically prohibits wine vinegar, which tells you it was common enough to need prohibiting. This wasn't a health trend. It was just how people ate. Real apple cider vinegar with the mother, the cloudy, stringy stuff at the bottom, goes through 2 fermentations. First, the apples ferment into hard cider. Then a second fermentation converts the alcohol into acetic acid. The mother is the living colony of bacteria left from that process. The clear, filtered version in the grocery store aisle has had all of that removed for appearance. You're buying vinegar without the actual medicine. Multiple controlled clinical trials and real studies, published and peer-reviewed, show that 1 to 2 tablespoons before a high-carbohydrate meal reduces your blood sugar spike by 15 to 30%. The mechanism is well understood. The acetic acid blocks the enzyme that breaks starch into glucose, slowing down the whole process. This is one of the most inexpensive and evidence-backed tools available. Consume 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in 8 ounces of water, 15 minutes before meals. Always have it diluted and never drink it straight, as it will damage your tooth enamel and your esophagus over time. Apple cider vinegar reduces post-meal blood sugar spikes by 15 to 30%, as confirmed across multiple clinical trials. It improves insulin sensitivity and lowers fasting glucose with regular use. Apple cider vinegar stimulates stomach acid production, helping people with low stomach acid absorb protein and minerals better. Now let's move forward to the 2 daily practices you should follow for a healthy gut. Practice 1 is the 12-hour eating window. Your gut has a built-in cleaning program. It is called the migrating motor complex, a wave of muscular activity that sweeps through your intestines roughly every 90 minutes when you have not eaten, clearing debris, dead bacteria, and undigested food particles that would otherwise sit there and ferment in ways you do not want. This cycle only activates when your digestive system is not processing food. Every time you eat or snack, the cycle resets to 0 and starts again. If you eat from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. with snacks in between, which is the default eating pattern for most adults in the modern world, your migrating motor complex barely gets a single full cycle completed in 24 hours. Your gut never gets cleaned. The debris accumulates, and then you wonder why you feel like this. Practice 2 is drinking warm water on waking up before anything else, before your coffee, before your phone, before anything else. 1 large glass of warm water, not cold, not iced, warm, the moment you wake up. This practice appears across traditional Chinese medicine, Japanese morning health culture, and Korean wellness traditions so consistently that researchers studying these populations began investigating it specifically. Here is what happens physiologically. During sleep, your digestive system enters a low-activity state. Your gut lining is in repair mode. Your bile is concentrated. Your stomach is empty. Cold water first thing causes the gut muscles to contract sharply, which disrupts the repair state mid-process. Warm water activates the gastrocolic reflex, the signal that triggers gut motility, moves things through your colon, and prepares your digestive enzymes for the meal ahead. It is the equivalent of warming up an engine before you drive it. Research into morning warm water consumption shows it improves gut motility, reduces constipation frequency, and helps clear the intestinal tract of overnight metabolic waste before food arrives. For anyone dealing with sluggish morning digestion, that heavy, backed-up feeling before you have eaten anything, this practice alone, done consistently for 2 weeks, produces noticeable changes. Add a squeeze of fresh lemon for additional digestive acid stimulation. Optional, but effective. 6 foods. 2 practices. That is the entire protocol. Share this with someone whose gut you are genuinely worried about. Save it for the next time your digestion is struggling, and you need a plan that actually makes sense. Drop a comment telling me which practice you are starting with today, especially if it is the warm water one, because I want to know how that first morning feels. Subscribe.